Hey, what is up? Welcome to episode 51 of Player Life. It is Tuesday, the 26th of January. 51 of Player Life. It is. Got some feedback there. It is Tuesday, the 26th of January here in Tokyo. Um, another day in the life. Just another chill day here in Tokyo. But I was out and about. I met a friend that had is back in Japan from from Germany, and I was just hanging out around Tokyo in lockdown Tokyo, emergency state Tokyo, which is actually just business as usual. It's really funny actually because they say that there is a state of emergency in Tokyo, and it's it's like it's actually business as usual. Apparently, some shops and establishments are closing earlier than usual. The beer bug, has evolved to recognize, time differences or whatnot. I don't know. It's really stupid. Like, you know, um, really stupid. So somehow closing a little bit earlier is going to, stop the spread. Very funny. I don't know. Japan's kind of based though. I have a feeling that they're doing it just to satisfy some international organization. Who knows why they're doing it? But yeah, it was like I said, it was out. Daytime is normal. Like streets are crowded, business as usual, cafes, restaurants, you name it, they're all open. But the madness continues. The madness continues indeed. Yeah, so I didn't have a lot of time to prepare for this episode, so I just thought, I'd talk about, been thinking the past while. I saw MLD did an episode last night talking about remaining apolitical, and it's kind of a good point, and I agree with the sentiment. Uh, but in reality, in my opinion, it's very hard to remain apolitical. Uh, I think everyone. I agree with people should definitely choose their battles. You should not just there's no point in having unnecessary arguments with people. It's really dumb actually to waste your time and energy to argue with everyone. But sometimes it's necessary. Mm, we got Javier Joseph in the house. What is good, my brother? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Um, yes. So, like I said, it's important. It's important to choose your battles, choose the fights. But getting into online arguments with random strangers is a complete waste of time. Yeah, people spend way too much time arguing with strangers online. Comment sections and whatnot, getting worked up over politics basically, and it just eats up. It's a complete waste of time. But you know, uh, we got Winston Wolf in the house. What is good? What is good? He says, "What it do, winners? Indeed, indeed, indeed." We got Zubair in the house. What's your tips with dealing with toxic parents when you can't leave them? It's a good question. You know, um, well, you should definitely be working towards leaving your parents. I always, it's well established fact that the sooner you leave your house as a man, as a male, it can be it's different for women, but specifically for men, the younger you leave your house, the more successful you're going to be in life. That's just a fact. You get a head start. The more you stay at home, it's an easy route. And I appreciate everyone has different circumstances. You might need to stay with your parents for the time being. That's understandable. But as long as you're working towards leaving the nest, as a male, as a man, you're gonna have to leave the nest at some point. It just has to be done. But until so you should keep focused on working towards getting out of your parents' house. Depending, it might take a few years depending on your age. I don't know how old you are, but when you're living with toxic parents, the best thing you can do is keep the peace. It's their house. There's not much you can do about it. So you try and keep the peace. You have to bite your tongue. There's no point in getting into arguments with your parents when you have to live there. If you've no choice, if you have to live with your parents, you have to keep the peace. You have to compromise. There's no way around it. You're not going to win. It's their house, their rules. So how do you deal with that? You set yourself the goal of evacuating, of getting out. That's the way you got to do it. There's no point in arguing with your parents over politics or this, that, and the other. Or you just if you have no choice, if you don't have the finances, if you just don't have the resources, then you keep yourself sane by setting yourself the goal of getting the resources, getting the finances, trying to get out of the house. That's a good thing. That's not, you should be, like I said, the sooner you get out of your house, the better, as a man, especially. And you're gonna have to deal with them. But I would, you gotta have patience. You might disagree with your parents, and they might annoy you. They might, but it's like, if you're gonna have to live there, it's better just to bite your tongue and kind of, not get into arguments. That's my advice. And you'll find peace by by knowing that you're working towards leaving. So that's my advice. But know your worth in the house. What is up? What is good? Yeah. As Winston says, plan the exit strategy. As long as you're planning the exit strategy, that that you should be doing that. Zuber says, I'm 18, almost done with school, working on leaving my shitty country. What steps should I take for my escape plan? I appreciate it. Well, I mean, it depends on which, I don't know which country you're in, but you should. I need more information, really. You should send me like an email. Send me an email, and I can give you some advice. But you might need to get some kind of education, some kind of trade. If you want to leave your country, you might need to get some kind of certificate, some degree even. College, it depends. You should try and get into a STEM field, because if you go to college and you get into arts, it's like, it's going to be, the only thing about going to university is if it's not a STEM field, that you get a lot of visas when you want to leave, when you want to enter a new country, when you want to get a visa or you want to get a job. The minimum requirement is to have a degree, some degrees. So but obviously if it's a good degree, like STEM field, then it's going to be a lot more beneficial. But that takes time and perseverance and patience. You probably don't want to be living with your parents. You might need to get a part-time job and work your ass off, and go and study at the same time to get a degree or something. Um, if you want to leave the country, because if you want to leave if you think your country's shit and you want to get out of the country and you want to get a job in another country, you're gonna need something, and you'll need something to get usually to get a visa to get into another country. Like if you wanted to come to Japan, you'd probably, a lot of places would require a visa, a degree or something, a university degree. Hope that helps. Javier says, my mom stole all my money and told me she wished she aborted me, even though I was always helping her. Bro, best thing is to follow what Max says. It's most effective. Yeah, that's obviously very, very toxic. And, it sounds like it would be a good idea to make your escape plan. It's not always possible just to leave immediately, but as long as you're not just sitting around, thinking, oh, I want to leave, but, getting frustrated, but without taking any action, as long as you're working towards leaving, even if you have to live in some shithole, some shitty apartment, some tiny, or even share with other friends, it's worth it, obviously. Zubair says, I'm from Bangladesh. My passion is for fitness and computer sciences. Well, obviously, fitness, computer science is a very valuable skill to have. You should try study computer science, and you could have a side business. Fitness, if that's your passion, you could be a personal trainer. There's tons of possibilities with those two, those two kinds of professions. So a lot of potential there. Yeah, so Javier says, learn to program for the next 2 years, as MLD says. Yeah, I mean, computer skills, computer sciences, that's not going away anytime soon. That's like, that's the future. Everything's becoming more and more digitalized. The more skills, the more knowledge you have about computer technology, it's going to stand to you. Definitely worth getting involved in that. The more technically proficient you are in, with technology, the better you're going to be, for sure. You got to keep up. But yeah, I mean, it's it's always best to keep the peace until you can escape your environment. That's why it's the ultimate goal is to have fuck you money, so you're able to do your own thing. No one can control you, no one can tell you what to do. You can plan your own schedule, you can get up whenever, you can sleep in, you can arrange your own schedule to suit yourself. That's the ultimate goal, that's the ultimate freedom. That's why I'm thinking, I realize more and more that the only way to get revenge on your enemies is to get fuck you money, where you're able to look after yourself and be completely independent, anti-fragile, because if you're working in a job, and you're relying on the salary, and you hate the people you work with, you have to keep the pace. So you get fired, and then you don't have an income. So yeah, that's the reason you gotta work on your finances and ultimately become an entrepreneur, or get money somehow, because when you're working in these companies, you constantly have to bite your tongue. You have to be it's like politics. You have to play politics. Like, you just have to know what to say, when to say, or you're gonna burn bridges. Um, Javier says revenge equals massive success. Exactly. Revenge. When your enemies see you do well, that's the best revenge. Like that'll boil their blood. It's the worst thing. I mean, we all, yeah, for sure. That's very much true. Miguel and House, what is good? What is up? When whoever saw the McGregor Poirier fight, McGregor got sparked out. Like that was a surprise. That was a shock. I did not see that coming. I thought in the build up to the fight, McGregor looked really, really focused, really, shaved head. I thought he was going to do the deed. I thought he was going to, honestly, I thought he was going to break up Poirier. I thought it was going to be a short fight. And that was just like such an upset. But the reason I bring that up is because I saw, Khabib, uh, he really hates McGregor. Obviously, they have that rivalry. And when it's just when you see your see your enemies failing, and Khabib is obviously has all the success. It's like that's the best revenge. McGregor was coming up for a long time. It seemed like he was always even making a fool of Khabib. But when Khabib won the fight, when Khabib beat McGregor's ass and got success, that's like the best revenge. McGregor was doing all the shit talk, and it's entertaining and it's fun, but obviously Khabib had the last laugh when he beat McGregor's ass and choked him out. And not only that, but McGregor comes back, fights Poirier, and gets knocked clean out. And I wouldn't say it was a clean. It was I don't know if it was completely knocked out, but he was definitely maybe for a second or so. But I think the screenshot, the stills of McGregor looks like he's knocked out. I honestly think his eyes were kind of more like just closed for a split second. I don't think it was like a clean like knockout. I don't think it was sparked out, but it definitely was put on his back. The memes are funny though, you have to admit. McGregor he took over the Bernie Sanders meme, but I don't know. A lot of people think Harry says Khabib is the most humble, the GOAT. Khabib is a beast. He's a savage, but he's not, for honestly, he obviously he's a savage, but he's not the most, for people fans of wrestling and things like that. Obviously, I'm not entertained by Khabib's when I see him fight. Obviously it's people see the skills, but it's just not as exciting when people use wrestling skills, and it's just not as exciting. It's not as entertaining for me personally. I prefer to see stand up, people getting broke up with punches and kicks and stuff like that. But it's he's obviously a beast. I would change your face, Khabib. Yeah, part of McGregor's stick was his shy talk, and he backed it up for years and years. Like he was just like a beast, but it's he just caught up with him. Don't do drugs, kids. The money and the drugs will make you soft for sure. He clearly doesn't have that hunger. I wouldn't be surprised. A lot of people are writing McGregor off, and that could be true. But I could see, when he could have set himself a new goal of like, his legacy is kind of very damaged right now. So that could be the motivation to, build himself back up and, like get some serious wins. A lot of people writing him off saying he's finished, his legacy's fucked, and that's valid too. It could be over the hump. Like the best of McGregor could be in the past, but it could be a thing where it's like he has some serious motivation because you know that really the last fight that really damaged his kind of legacy, his reputation, just to get in the first round he was doing so well. He was sparking Poirier. He was like getting he wobbled Poirier. He wobbled him like with a straight right. Just really, I thought that was the beginning of the end for Poirier. But yeah, that just came out of nowhere. That they when Poirier just like started laying off on him, just it's over, like boom, his fight's finished. Holy shit, I was stunned. I think everyone was. But like I said, it really, all the memes, it's a bad look for McGregor. I don't know, even want to say, I'm sure it's damaging for his legendary kind of status, very much so. Obviously, getting torn apart. Memes are savage. The memes are bad, but like I said, a lot of motivation to come back from that. Yeah, but Winston says they wrote off Tyson Fury too. Yeah, I mean Tyson Fury was like down in the dumps. I mean he was like hurt. I think he was like, I don't know. He was like, he's a giant dude, but he was like seriously, he swelled up to a huge guy. Like, I mean, I don't even know what it was, but he was really really overweight, and he was doing drugs, and he was drinking. He was had serious depression, and then he came back. No. So Harry says McGregor can still be a great entrepreneur. I mean, he still could, he still is. I mean, it's just, can he come back and be great, compete with all those savages in that division? Who knows? Maybe not. Maybe he can. Maybe not. Personally, I think if he, some people are really harsh. Some people are saying he's done. He should just retire right now. But obviously, I don't. He should. He at least needs to do like one more fight. Like, and he needs to win it. And if he loses like that again, like in that the same in the same manner where he gets like knocked out, then then I think it's just I don't think it'd be very hard to come back from that. It's just it would be, but if he can come back and get another win of someone decent, I mean, a lot of people, Cowboys, when he beat Cowboy in the first round and just knocked him out, it was, I think, Cowboy is, he wasn't really going to be much of a threat. He's been through so much. He just, but it's a different story when you're fighting guys like Poirier. But Marcus in the house, what is up? What is good? Yes. Harry says brand awareness and audience. He's polarizing. Yep. Yeah. Harry says, I would love to see him fight Khabib again, just to see him lose again. Yeah, he that fight is, he's definitely not going to get the fight Khabib next. No way. I mean, Khabib's not going to accept the fight, and he would get his ass beat again. If McGregor's ever going to fight Khabib again, which is probably never going to happen, but McGregor would have to build himself up and get a multiple, some seriously solid. He'd need to come back and he'd need to beat Poirier decisively and he'd probably not more than that. He'd need to beat a few other guys too in order for him to, you know, motivate Khabib to want to beat him again. Like I just couldn't. I would find it very hard to see McGregor beating Khabib again. You know, ever again. I mean, I find it hard to imagine McGregor beating Khabib. He didn't. You know, he obviously, but you know, he did better in the Khabib fight than he did against Poirier. You know, he got knocked out. It was the first time McGregor got like sparked out. He's never been, you know, that was he got choked out by Khabib. Um, Javier says if he retires on a good note, then he could lead a service or a brand through that. Yeah, that's the thing. You know, he could. You know, he could. You know, if he retired now, that would be a really shitty note to leave the sport on. His legacy would be, it would always be remembered like for that like second round knockout. You know, the memes are savage. So it really, I'm sure that the loss like has really damaged even his whiskey brand, his brands. Like you know, it's a harsh world. You know, it's a harsh world. Like you know, you know, he still obviously has a ton of fans. You know, he still has all these diehard fans and stuff. But you know, obviously getting knocked out like that, and you know, all the memes tearing the shit out of him, it would be a really terrible note to end his career on. So the reason he really needs to have another fight, because even if he had another loss like as bad as he did against Poirier, it kind of wouldn't make it any worse. It's still, you know, it would be just like, you know, it's still not, you know, but he has everything to gain by you know, going again, you know, having another fight, you know, to build up his reputation again. But you know, he doesn't really have much to lose at this point, because he already lost in a really kind of devastating way. Like, you know, second round, real sudden, like just knocked out, put on his back. Yeah, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But you know, if he does fight again, everyone's going to be watching again, regardless. Anyway, if people might maybe writing him off, like saying, "Oh yeah, he's done," but you can guarantee everyone's going to watch him again. Yeah. Anyway, that's my amateur analysis on MMA. I love watching MMA, but I'm definitely a casual kind of fan. I'm not like an in-depth, not extremely knowledgeable about you know. But here we go. So you know, I wanted to talk about, you know, the idea of, you know, trying to remain apolitical, and when it's practical and when it's not. You know, it's easy to say, you know, oh, you should remain apolitical, but in reality, everything kind of boils down to politics. Like, it may not be explicitly, you know, you might not necessarily be talking about politicians, but you know, when you're talking about the beer bug, when you're talking about dynamics between men and women, it's all basically politics. That's all it is. So, you know, when it comes to maintaining friendships, you know, I think in the current climate, it's very difficult to you know, maintain a friendship with someone who has a lot of different political opinions than you. You know, it's, you know, you always hear these people giving out advice like you should never fall out over politics. And you know, while I agree with the sentiment, like obviously, it's kind of like it has a bit of a do-gooder kind of. It's a little bit, you know, I kind of, it's not very practical. You know, it's not like, you know, while if you're falling out over like, oh, or if your friend, over who you voted for, yeah, that's stupid. But you know, the reality is you're probably not falling out over who you voted for. Like it's more that you're gonna fall out with people over your opinions, over just basic opinions, like um especially in the current climate, because it's very hard to compromise with people who in the current era we're living in, because the opinion, they're so polarized. It's like you might have a friend. I might imagine I've fallen out with people, especially in the past, people who I would have gotten on with, you know prior to all this, beer bug stuff. And I don't regret falling out with them in a way, because it's unfortunate, but it's like there's no compromise. I feel like I'm more tolerant of their opinions than they are of mine, in a way. Like I'm all about freedom. I'm all about freedom of expression, freedom of opinion, like, freedom to choose what you want to do. um but for example, when you have people like, regarding the beer bug, regarding vaccines, where they are, you know uh, they're saying that, they're demanding that, everyone should get the vaccine. Where I'm as like, where my opinion is, if you want to take the vaccine, sure, that's fine. I'm not going to try and stop anyone wanting to get a vaccine, but people should have the right to choose. But then you have the other people, the people who, are saying that, no, you have to get the vaccine. You need to get it. Or they're saying you need to stay home. You shouldn't go out. You need to wear a mask. They're demanding. And how do you maintain a friendship with people that hold opinions like that? It's very difficult. So it's not that you're falling out with people over 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 who they vote for, really. It's not like, but it is political. It is you are actually, because it all boils down to politics, really. So while it's okay to say, oh yeah, don't fall out, or it's stupid to fall out, don't fall out with friends or family over politics. It's yeah, I agree with the sentiment, but it's not very practical. It's not very true, because if you're going to hang out with friends, what do you talk about? You might not think you're talking about politics, but pretty much everything you talk about, it's somehow political. You're talking about the beer bug, you're talking about chicks, you're talking about you know women. So if you're going to go and be friends with a lefty, a libtard, you know even if you're talking about chicks, and they're like, and you're talking about dating, and you're talking about banging chicks, you're gonna disagree about, if especially if you're friends with like a lefty, a male feminist, say. you know how are you gonna you can't really have locker room talk with a male. You're gonna get criticized. It's constantly going to be a battle. So the solution is really, you gotta find your tribe. You gotta find a group of guys that like have, you know let's say, at least 70% hold 70% of the same opinions as you. It's not good to be in a complete like echo chamber. It's obviously, you shouldn't agree about everything. You don't want to be like, giving each other back massages, and but you want roughly to be in a group of people that have, you know similar opinions, because that way you can speak freely, you can speak your mind without getting, told you're a misogynist, you're sexist, you're far right, and it's far more likely that people on the left will terminate a friendship, more than I would. I would have a certain amount of tolerance. I'm not going to tolerate. I'll be honest though, I find it very hard to tolerate some people. It's just the way it is. I mean, you got to find your tribe. You got to find a group of men, that will agree with you more often than not. It's okay to have disagreements over small things. You don't want to be, you're going to disagree with people over certain things, but when it comes to the big things like freedom and freedom of free speech and freedom of expression and freedom to choose, they're big things. And it's hard to maintain a friendship when it's it's just different, completely different. It's hard. It's almost impossible to compromise. But then on the other hand, like we were talking about at the start of the show, when you have a job, when you're in a company, and you're surrounded by co-workers who might have completely different opinions. In those circumstances, you have to remain apolitical until you can find another solution, until you can find a way out, until you can find another place to go. Same with family, family members. If you're at home, if you're living with your parents, if you're living with who knows siblings, you disagree with them, you have completely different opinions. You need to remain apolitical to keep the peace until you find another solution, until you get out of there, until But when it comes to friendships, that's where it's very hard to remain apolitical, and it's not very practical. It's just, and it's like it's not that you're talking about, like I said, it's the things guys talk about. You might everything has a relation to politics. It's just the way it is. Javier says, when talking about politics, and I have a cocky, funny tone, and it seems to work with no problems in terms of politics. Well, that's good. That is good. Spark 55, what is good? Hi. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just the solution is, you got to find a tribe of guys that are gonna, not gonna bust your balls over giving your opinion. And if you're around people that are like, cutting you off and criticizing you heavily for, speaking your mind or telling the truth, then, you need to find a new group. And people on the left, people that, are very intolerant of freedom are, they're more likely to, cut things off anyway. So in a way, it's just unfortunate that that's the world we live in, where it's just very polarized. It's hard to compromise with people that have such I don't know. It's basically like fascism. It's like you have to follow you have to follow what the government says. You have to follow what these giant corporations say. You have to, and it's always very funny that, the people who are most likely to have this kind of fascist, very intolerant, authoritarian, you must do as I say, you must follow, what all these corporations tell us to do, all this progressive agenda. They're the ones that have, most likely have all these tattoos, like dress like, have the pink hair, have all the piercings, and but they're the one, so it's kind of like they project this like free, kind of rebellious on the outside. Like on the outside they'll have this like free looking, rebellious, like cool image, but on the inside, like they're dorks. They're like, not only are they dorks, but they're the most uncool people ever. They're like, you must do as you know the Amazon and you know as you must do as the biggest corporations in the world. You must follow. You must do it. Like if you don't do it, you're a far right Nazi. You're sick. You're a misogynist. You're hateful. You're full of hate. These people that you know um it's just, I don't know, it's wild, but it's all projection. It's so fickle. Their image is so fake. Like they have this punk rebellious image, but they're like the most conformist, they're most like dorky losers. Like it reminded me of the girl I was on a date with yesterday. She looked like this cool, like edgy, you know, um, you know, edgy girl. Like, she had nice fashion. She had, her nice hair, nice, and she lived in California for like 8 years, and she went to high school and college in California. Supposedly, like, the hippie, state of America, but she had the most conformist, straight edge, views. Like, she looked down upon me for not, wearing a mask while drinking coffee. Like, what? How am I supposed to drink coffee without, just no rationale behind it. Um, uh, Know Your Worth says they are actually the ones that are programmed. Yeah, it's exactly it. So they project this image of rebellious, like go against the society, but they're following exactly what all the biggest organizations in the world tell them to do. There's not an ounce of rebellion in them. It's all, they're the foot soldiers of the elites. Um, that these are the people that enforce the elite, the agenda, you know the Karens of the world, the people who shout at you on the train and make a scene, for just being a free thinker. um for being a black sheep, they'll like, they'll target you. These losers, these fucking dorks, these like absolute nerds. Like, they have, it's always the ones that, they'll have tattoo, like I said, they'll have tattoos, they'll be wearing like, some edgy, they'll have doing this edgy, this, that, and the other, and they'll be the most conformist dorks. Like, it's always the same. um yeah, free thinking is admonished by them. Yep. Javier says, my motto is, if the mainstream tells you to drink juice, drink water, and vice versa. Yeah, basically do the opposite to whatever the mainstream tells you to do. It's probably a good way to look at things. Yeah, but it's obvious. Like, they're first of all, it was obviously their global warming agenda wasn't impactful enough. So they needed something more hard hitting, and it was too slow. The whole global warming thing to try and reset the world wasn't effective. It didn't have that, so they brought in this um, killer virus that is killing us all. They needed something like that. It's so obvious. Noywhere says, if anything varies an iota from progressive standards, you are made out to be unethical. That's it. Unethical, even worse than that, just like an evil person. It's funny. You often see, I've seen these memes around where it's like, you get these lefties, and they'll say something like, they'll say something on Twitter like, hail Satan. And I saw this funny meme that was like, I don't even know if it was a meme, but it was just a screenshot or something where someone said, hail Hitler or something. And they were like, fuck you, fascist. And it's like, hey, you just said hail Satan. Do you not think, like, obviously is Hitler not? I'm sure Hitler and Satan would get on pretty well. So, but it's just a hypocrisy. It's like, so it's like people on the left kind of, worshiping evil, kind of, oh, hail Satan, like, like, yeah, I'm so edgy, I'm so cool, like, yeah, like badass, and then someone just triggers them by saying, hey, hail Hitler, and it's like, oh my god, you fascist! Like, it's like, you think obviously Satan is they're both in the same category. Yeah, it's just there's never ending hypocrisy from these like dorks. Um, uh, duh, 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 duh. Spark 55 says, well, Hitler is their idol, so they just won't show it openly. Yeah. I don't know. These people, you just have to mock these people, just constantly. They can't meme. These people don't know how to meme. They're just not funny. People on the left are just not funny anymore. It's just when they try and get political, um, it's just stupid. But you can't. Pretty much every mainstream outlet is pushing all these agendas, and they're just supported by all these dorks, all these lefty dorks, and if you go against any of it, you're just going to be told you're evil, you're far right, you're a Nazi. It's all the same. They always have the same criticisms, and unfortunately, it's the same thing. It's the same thing that it's happening all over the Western world. It's not, it's not. I would say like Ireland is pretty much like a democratic state in America. Let me just share this page. This is like. So this is called the journal.ie. This is like the Guardian of Ireland, and it's like this is what Irish people. This is where Irish people get their news, basically. And I haven't actually looked at this today. I just want to see like what kind of woke stuff is on it. It'll be pushing all the stuff about the beer bug, I guarantee it. Let's see. So it says this first article says New Zealand borders likely to remain closed for bad grammar there for most of 2021. Arden says, and it'll probably be writing about this in a positive, oh, that's a good thing, locking down. Man who held up judge with a fake pistol and Hulks bomb jail for 6 years. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, more fear mongering. There are 1,823 people with the beer bug in hospital and 216 people remain in ICU. More fear mongering, more, it's all, all progressive stuff, all very cool, all very hip, live blog. Cabinet set to approve level 5 extension and mandatory hotel quarantine. All very cool, all supported by all the hipsters, all the progressives. Very cool. Stay home, wear your mask, don't go outside. It's funny. I was supposed to meet a chick tomorrow. I was gonna do a photo shoot with her. She's like, and she said, Tokyo is still on lockdown, and Tokyo is not on lockdown. They basically, like I said, they brought in a rule where it's not even a rule, it's voluntary. I mean, some places close a little bit earlier. That's it. And anyway, she said, I didn't realize you wanted to shoot tomorrow. I thought Tokyo's still on lockdown. And I simply said, lockdown, what do you mean lockdown? Tokyo's, it's not on lockdown. It's literally not on lockdown. I mean, you go out, everywhere's open. There's no issue. And then she comes back. Well, she still hasn't responded. But I know even me just saying that, even me just saying a simple fact like it's Tokyo's not on lockdown, she'll view that as like a very aggressive. This like probably thinks I'm far right. It's just that's how low the bar is for being like some far right, evil person. It's like I just say Tokyo's not on. Actually, it's not really on lockdown. Oh my God! What oh, she immediately, and it's so funny because you can immediately tell. You can tell someone's political opinion so easily these days. It's easy. You can just tell someone's just from a simple sentence. If I know if someone is supporting, lockdown, like I know I know what their politics is immediately. I know everything about them pretty much. They're pro MLD. All this, that, and the other. It's so predictable. It's unbelievably predictable. Who we got in here? We got Rishi Padaruth. Yo Mac, what's up? What's up, bro? Rishi says, what coins would you advise buying in your opinion? I am definitely not a crypto expert at all. I mean, I'm new to crypto. I just got into crypto because I met MLD and Charlie, and they got me into it pretty much. But I'm still learning. I'm still getting into the crypto. I'm not one to ask about coins, but the coins I have. I mean, I have some ETH. I have some Uniswap because I used the exchange and I got 400 free coins, and I pretty much got, and that works out at about $5,000 right now. I have got $5,000 for free right now. Crypto is amazing. Like it's insane. It's magic internet money. I have some Celsius and I have some Hex. That's what I own right now. And unfortunately, yeah, I had my first crypto. How would I say? Yeah, first painful crypto experience with Celsius actually, because one of my first moves into crypto was I bought some Bitcoin, and I had just under a Bitcoin. So if I stayed in that wouldn't be a bad thing. But anyway, I got in soon after buying some Bitcoin. I got into Celsius. I basically went full retard into Celsius, and I had almost 13,000 Celsius, and Celsius is worth when I bought it in the summer, had almost 13,000 Celsius, and I went full retard into Hex, and unfortunately I should have stayed in Celsius because I'd have about over $70,000. I would have done some serious multiplications of my investment. And but that's that's the thing about crypto. You learn about it, you learn as you go. It seems it's going to be a very profitable year. Definitely seems to be the year to get into it. But I'm no expert. You got to look at Cultivate Crypto for that. That's definitely sure. I'm Hex could do some crazy things. I'm still smoking some hopium regarding Hex. We got MLD in house. What is up? What is up, my brother? Tokyo is the best city in the world. Tokyo is actually the best city. Yeah, Tokyo's on lockdown right now. Tokyo is just normal. I was out today. It was I went to Eggs and Things with a friend. Eggs and Things, very nice. Eggs Benedict, delicious, good stuff. But tons of hot girls out. It was, Tokyo's just amazing. It's just like, if you it's so basic, but if you ever go to a Starbucks in Tokyo, you're gonna see the hottest girls. You'll see hotter girls in Starbucks in Tokyo than you'll see in a nightclub. That is a fact. Girls get dolled up. They go there with their friends. They sit, looking, swiping. It's funny because you're sitting beside them, and they're just swiping away on their Instagram feed. But they're stunningly hot. I mean, yeah. If you want to do day game in Tokyo, just go to Starbucks. You'll be pleasantly surprised. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. By the way, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. I noticed, like I said, I noticed YouTube has not been like posting my comments, the other people's comments under my videos. I get the notification that there's been people commenting. I read the comment, and then suddenly it's gone. I don't know what the hell is happening, but so I need to get those likes up. Maybe it'll help me with the algorithm. Spark55 says buy, sell below 5, maybe a bit of ETH as it's not above its all-time high, and some SNX link, a little bit of RSR. Maybe so. Maybe some good advice. Yeah, I find it hard to I don't even want to look at sell anymore because I know that I had almost 13,000 sell, and then I look at the price going up and up, and it's like, damn. But you live and you learn. That's what it is. But that's crypto. You're gonna strike it right at some point. Yeah. But yeah, it's Harziko says, smash like, bros. They are free. Yes, indeed, they are free. Yeah, but it's all helpful, trying to grow the channel. I can't get any super chats at the moment, but if you're feeling generous, if you want to help me grow the channel, you can donate on my you can donate it in the links in the account. That would be very helpful. But it's all good. I appreciate everyone joining in the chat. It's always good. It's always good. But yeah, it's been a good one. MLD is back doing his show. He's going to be on, I think, after Cultivate Crypto, Charlie's show. So I'll be in the chat there. I'll be back tomorrow night with another episode of Player Life. So I will catch you guys tomorrow night. So have a good day. Peace out.